Hello, welcome to my podcast. I shall explain one of the oldest mysteries in American history with a few theories on why the colonists have disappeared from Roanoke. Let us get on with it. A very long time ago, a man named Sir Walter Raleigh, an English explorer, founded the first English settlement within the New World in August 1585. The first batch of colonists who volunteered to stay at the settlement did not have beginner's luck at all. They had to endure very low food supplies as well as Indian attacks for about a year or so, up until they chickened out and went back to England. A year passed on, and Sir Raleigh sent another group of 100 people under the watchful eyes of John White. John heads back to England after a while to bring more supplies, but unfortunately a naval war just started with Spain, so the supply run was delayed for about 3 years. Nothing bad can ever happen in a span of 3 years of being away, definitely not. Anyways, John White was eventually able to take supplies down to the settlement in August 1590, but by the time they got back, everyone had vanished. John and his men looked everywhere, but just couldn't find anyone. It was effectively a ghost town. In 1998, wow, time skip, archaeologists who studied tree ring data found that some very bad droughts were happening between 1587 and 1589. No doubt this helped with the disappearances, but what actually happened to the colonists still remains a mystery, as no one will know for sure. Fortunately, that is why theories exist. During my research, I found many theories on what happened, and in my opinion, plenty of these theories can easily be debunked. For instance, one theory involves enemy Spanish people killing everyone. That is a good theory, up until you remember that John White and his men found that they disappeared. If they were killed, wouldn't their remains still be at the colony slowly rotting away? If it's enemies we're talking about, I don't think they would bury them. Plus, if it was found that no struggling signs were in the area, so unless they somehow lured 100 people away from the village, I don't think any violence had a part in this mystery. This would bring the idea of people dying from disease and starvation being the reason plausible, but nothing was ever mentioned finding corpses or even graves. So the final possibility would be that the colonists have relocated. There are two theories I found that suggest where they may have gone. This first theory comes from them moving to a place called Bertie County, where a team of archaeologists have found broken pieces of pottery in Bertie, with this origins lining up pretty well. What has been found so far at Sites Y in Bertie County appears to me to solve one of the greatest mysteries in early American history, the Odyssey of the Lost Colony. William M. Kelso, Emeritus Director of the Archaeology and Research at Jamestown Rediscovery, said in a statement. However, another group of people disagree with this statement, as they found evidence of their own that makes a bit more sense in my opinion. The only known clue of the colonists' whereabouts involves a written word on a tree labeled Croton. Bertie was the heart of the enemy territory. It is the last place they would go. The colony literally wrote down they relocated to Croton. Scott Dawson, co-founder of the Croton Archaeological Society, has said. Now, enough on the backstory and other theories. I want to talk about my own little theory. Let me go on the ground up with this. When John White left and time started passing by and there was no sign that John was coming back, they most likely did not have any way of contacting with England, so they probably are not even aware of the naval war that prevented the supplies from coming back. To them, they might have thought that something bad happened, and supplies were most likely not coming at all. More time passes, and the previous mentioned drought has probably came by now, and supplies are running out and people are growing wary. One day, some Indians come by and offer help, which would mean they would have to relocate. They agree and take any essentials, and just in case someone were to find the colony and whatnot, they write down the word Croton in a tree so they would know where they have headed off to. I like this theory, and if you think about it, wasn't there a thing with translators, like an Indian woman and two other folks, and one of the folks could speak both English languages? It's possible that person is descended from the same colonists, which would explain how they learned both languages. This is obviously a long shot, but it's a nice idea and it makes sense, so why not add it?